Chiefs win the Super Bowl.
Chiefs win. Cry, Eagles, cry.
Great, excited to be back in the league.
You know, every day I got the Three Stooges in the studio with me is a good fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
So let's make sure he gets that bag.
Frauds, Price! Woo!
Justin's way ahead in picks. That's all that you need to fucking know.
Show's over.
Show's over. We're going home. I would like to welcome you back to another page of the Playbook Sports Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Playbook Sports Podcast. We got a full Zoomy meeting going on here. We got Opal, we got Seif, we got Don, Sage Brown in the house. Fellas, how we doing?
Doing great. Excited for another episode. Can't wait to get to Seif's mock draft, baby.
Yes, that's what we're here for today is the Colin Seifert mock draft 2023 first round, all 31 picks coming at you hot and hurty. Seif's, how much time are you putting into this and what kind of research you doing back there?
Oh, I did a lot of research today. I started looking last night, really, to I already have a list of what I wanted to do. And last night I kind of put it all together. And then today I researched a little bit about each pick. So just to have a few talking points here and there. But
love it. Ready to roll. We're going to do it the same way we've done them all. You're going to give us 5 picks. We're going to talk about them, and then we'll just keep the train on rolling. And we've got some more stuff we'll talk about after the mock. But the mock's what brings us all here today. Colin, take it away. Pick number 1, Carolina Panthers on the board.
Pick number 1, I have Carolina taking Bryce Young, quarterback out of Alabama. I had this already written out before Addison sent the text earlier today that now he is the betting favorite at this exact moment to go number 1. 5'10", 1/8 inch, 204 pounds, allegedly. You look at a guy who would probably be the consensus number 1 pick if he was, 6'2" or 6'3", but since he isn't, guys, there's questions about it. 2021 Heisman Trophy winner, 23-4 career college player. No question marks on his playmaking ability. Number 2, and I have Houston Texans taking C.J. Stroud, quarterback out of Ohio State. They're kind of just left with the 2. It was tough for me to pick between these 2. But I think Carolina, they just want to go with the more like mini Mahomes is his nickname for a reason. Probably the playmaker at the position right now, most NFL ready. So I have him going 1, Stroud going 2 to Houston. I have Arizona staying at 3 and selecting Will Anderson Jr. out of Alabama. I looked at, we talked about a potential trade back, but if I'm Indy, I'm saying who can trade up in front of me that Arizona's okay with trading back with and still getting their guy. And I think if they traded beyond Seattle at 5, Arizona, they wouldn't get Will Anderson. Seattle will take Will Anderson. So I think Arizona stays put. Indy realizes that Arizona doesn't really have that much leverage over them to trade up for a pick. So Arizona's staying put. They're taking Will Anderson Jr. at 3. Touch up Indy at 4. They're staying put at 4. I have them taking Anthony Richardson, quarterback out of Florida. Combine God, we know about the potential this guy has, but maybe not the most NFL ready guy at this exact moment, but more so drafting for the future and what he can be versus what he is now. 5 to wrap up, I have Seattle staying put at 5 and taking Tyree Wilson, edge out of Texas Tech. I went back and forth between him and Jalen Carter. I just think the off the field stuff is, you don't want that to be a headline going into the year. And I don't know if it will be. Hopefully it all gets resolved and taken care of sooner rather than later. But I have them just going Tyree Wilson edge, and maybe you'll see later why I have them going edge here versus D tackle here.
Yeah, I love those picks. Honestly, I think if you asked anybody to say, hey, who are the 5 players that are going picks 1 through 5, any order, who are the 5? I think these are the 5, unless somebody moves up for a quarterback. If we don't talk trades, I think these are the 5 players that would go 1 through 5 in any order.
Agreed.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear why Carolina has all of a sudden shifted to Bryce Young instead of C.J. Stroud. I get it. Bryce Young's tape is insane. Like Bryce Young, I think, like you said, if he was 6'2", 6'3", best quarter. Like we're talking about him in the same breath as Trevor Lawrence, Andrew Luck, all of these great. But the fact that he's just undersized is obviously concerning. He would look great in a Frank Reich offense, man. I'll tell you that much. I do not mind that pick at all, and that sets up Houston to take probably, just as good of a fantastic quarterback as well. And CJ Stroud, man, I'm a big CJ Stroud guy. I would be happy if I'm Houston. I'm sure that some will be bummed within the organization, but CJ Stroud is a great quarterback that showed, you watch highlights because you want to see what they can do. CJ Stroud gave you nothing but highlights in the biggest game of the year against the best defense in
Yeah,
college.
100%.
Yep.
Stepped up huge against Georgia. I mean, there's the one question, man. This guy's really facing the best defense in the country, big time by a mile. And he stepped up huge, had a monster game. I mean, did everything you asked of him. We'll say Bryce Young, Daniel Jeremiah leaked that thing about the processing speed, but it was clear though in college as well, Bryce Young could do it, man. And that's huge for the NFL because that's the one thing that young quarterbacks struggle with.
Right.
You know, you just tag it to the Bears field. That's his one big flaw is like processing speed. Well, if Bryce Young has got that down pat and then some, which is what people are saying, tough to ignore that when potentially you're taking a guy in Stroud where it's like, is that a question mark for him coming from the same system? You know, Ohio State, they get guys open because of scheme plays, they have better athletes. Bryce Young's doing it where he is just reading guys open. I will say, obviously short, throws over the middle. He has to get that ball a little bit higher arc when he passes it. That's the one question I have. But I mean, that didn't stop Drew Brees, doesn't stop Kyler Murray, didn't stop him in college, really. So, I mean, Bryce Young, #1 pick. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it was. Of course, there's some news, everything changes, but right before the draft, just loops right back around to Bryce Young. Not surprising there.
No, I agree. And like back on that processing test you mentioned, just real quick, do you guys know, I don't know if you saw the actual podcast where DJ talked about it. Do you guys know who was the best in last year's draft class?
Brock Purdy.
Brock
Yeah,
Purdy
yeah,
had the
saw that.
best
Yeah, of
score on
course.
that test last year. And he undefeated till the playoffs and then he got hurt. So
Yeah.
do with that what you will. Sage, what are your thoughts here? What do you like about these picks?
Yeah, the one I'm most excited about right here is just that Anthony Richardson pick to the Colts. I mean, they have what you're looking for to like get him started. They have a #1 receiver in Michael Pittman. They got a run game to lean on, and they got a decent defense, you know? So if there's anyone that can support this guy in the top 5, I think it will be the Colts. I don't think there's many good teams. I don't know if the Colts are a good team, but they're well built for a rookie that needs to develop.
100%.
So I totally agree with Anthony Richardson going there. That's really exciting to me, and I think he could pop off easily and under the right system.
Oh yeah, Shane Steichen too, or Shane Steichen. Yeah, I
Yep.
love that offense too. Just, I mean, not exactly obviously Jalen Hurts, but type player and can do things with his legs that maybe other guys can't, and his size.
Mhm.
Shane Steichen is licking his chops if Richardson's there at 4 and they don't have to move.
Yeah. Oh, huge win for them if they can sit put and get the most athletic quarterback
That's
we've ever
scary,
seen.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, Steichen was a part of the offensive staff that really grew Hurts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As well. It's like this guy took over play calling last year. All what he do led him to the playoffs and obviously Super Bowl. I mean, 2 years ago, and then Super Bowl this last year. So it's like he took over offensive coordinator. Jalen Hurts just takes off. I mean, absolutely dominant. Gonna get paid a bag because of his play. And well, now this guy's got a chance to get a quarterback that he can mold. That's terrifying.
Yeah, I agree. And just briefly touching on the 2 defensive ends you have going here, I think Arizona has holes everywhere, and Will Anderson is probably pound for pound the best player in this draft class at a premier position.
Yep.
You talk premier positions: quarterback, defensive end, left tackle. Those are probably your 3 premier positions in the NFL, and maybe corner if you want to sneak that in there at 4th. Well, but Will Anderson has been touted as this insane defensive end prospect ever since he was in high school, and he lived up to the billing, man. He looked great at Alabama. He's a stud. Arizona, you just lost older J.J. Watt. This guy is plug and play. Don't mess this up. Don't get greedy. I know you need more picks, but you're not going to get a player like Will Anderson if you move down too far. You're just not. He's just that good.
It's just
And
it's just what can they use that to their leverage though? Because it's also then what's the return? Where's that line draw where it's like this is worth not taking potential like Hall of Famer level talent in Will Anderson?
Right.
But then that's a team giving all that up for the 3rd quarterback. We'll see. And I like Will Anderson at 3 though.
I think it's really going to depend on what Houston does right there, because like you said, like Houston might skip on that quarterback.
Man, if they do, that literally the whole draft goes bananas at that point.
Exactly. I see trades galore immediately.
Oh yeah. 100%.
All of a sudden, Arizona's getting a bag and a hat.
Whatever they want. Yep.
I mean, Houston's on the phone with them too.
Trying to move up.
What's up, 12?
Yeah.
Right here in the package. Come on.
Mhm. Yeah. And then Tyree Wilson, just a freak athlete out of Texas Tech. He just fits the Seattle mold of players they like. They go after these athletes because they know we have the coaching staff to coach them up. And this is a bonus pick because this isn't their actual pick. So this is one where you take a shot on maybe a home run here. Tyree Wilson could be insane if he's well coached because he's got all the physical attributes in the world. So I like the top 5. Let's keep her rolling, Colin. Give us 6 through 10.
All right, 6 was tough because I was obviously looking defense for the Lions here. In two very different positions here, but I ended up going Jalen Carter, defensive line out of Georgia. Just makes sense. Dan Campbell's got to love the boys up front, and I think that's how you build the championship defense. You got to start with the line up front because if you can get 4 home, everything else comes so much easier on the back end.
Yeah.
3-6 to Detroit. At 7 here, Vegas taking Christian Gonzalez, corner out of Oregon. I think he's just the best player at that exact moment in the draft. Maybe not their biggest need, but definitely a need for them. Go get one of maybe the best corner in the draft. 8, I have the Falcons taking Peter Skoronski out of Northwestern. They need offensive line help, and I think he's maybe the most versatile one. So go ahead and ship him down to Atlanta. 9, I have Chicago taking Paris Johnson Jr., tackle out of Ohio State. I think they have a lot of holes as well. They're another team that has a lot of holes, but I think you got to shore up the line as well, especially if you want to build around Justin Fields, which I believe that I do. 10, first trade I made.
Ooh, okay.
Philadelphia trading back to number 19.
Woo.
Tampa Bay trades up to 10, giving up their first round pick this year, their first round pick next year, and a 4th round pick next year. And they're going to draft Will Levis out of Kentucky.
Okay.
Tampa tweaks. They don't believe in Kyle Trask. I don't believe Baker Mayfield's the answer either. They see 3 quarterbacks off the board, and they see Tennessee coming up. They see New England coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And there's probably another team I'm missing that's also ahead of them. I know Washington's ahead of them, but I doubt Washington would take a quarterback. So you see a few teams there that might take a quarterback, and I think they tweak. And I don't believe they're buying into the tank. And I think they take Will Levis at 10.
Oh man, I could see that happening big time. If especially if the Eagles don't like what's on the board for them at 10, I could absolutely see them looking like, hey, we got 2 first-round picks. We're down to move back and just accumulate draft picks. Just stock up that war chest. And Levis is also kind of like a lottery ticket. I don't like it that he puts mayonnaise in his coffee. I think that should exclude him from the first round entirely. But that's okay. It's fine. We'll move on. Got a cannon of an arm.
Also eats bananas with the peel on them as well.
Yeah, saw that.
Big weird.
Yeah, weird guy.
But he is in great shape. He's posted his workout videos like the guy is an absolute freak athlete with a cannon.
You see the report? I don't like that people are saying he's a narcissist because he posts pics, and it's like, no, man, he improved on himself and says he's in great shape. Like, come on, guys. Like, I don't think that is bad.
No,
and like that doesn't mean he's a narcissist because he's showing off improvement. Like, what, guys can't do that? Like, and then if he doesn't do anything, oh, he's never in the gym, never working.
Right.
So, like, lost both ways.
Can't win. Can't win.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, I love that pick. But I'm gonna bounce back down to 6. Jalen Carter to Detroit is a home run slam dunk pick for Detroit, in my opinion, based on talent.
Yeah.
Now, character concerns, obviously, I'm not worried about that. I've seen what this guy can do on the field, and it's absolutely wreck a game plan. I mean, you have to double team him in the middle every time, man. He's so good. He's got a high motor. Big fan of Jalen Carter on the field. Now, will the off the field stuff get him? Who knows? Maybe that will scare some teams away. But if he gets, if MCDC can get a hold of him and get through to him and instill, that Detroit grit that he's got, look out, man. He could be a beast next to Aiden Hutchinson and James Houston the 4th.
It's going to be the best part when I'm shitting on this guy and then the Bears draft him at 9. But you say high motor, and I agree, but his small gas tank. He rotated at Georgia a lot. Is he gonna need to do that in the league? He comes in overweight. I understand all that shit going on, but the pro day comes in, can't finish in a weather-controlled dome. It's just questions there, and it was, this guy can't play every snap, but does he need to? I mean, when you're drafting a guy 6, everything does change in the NFL. You get the best of the best trainers, the best of the best everything there. And you're right, Nate, the grit of Detroit, can you buy into the system? It's a great place to go. But of course, everything I'm saying here, the Bears are going to draft him. I'm going to go, oh, baby, Carter's a monster.
A beast.
High motor, big gas tank, can be on the field.
Yeah.
But no, at the end of the day, whoever gets Carter is getting a dub. I mean, this guy was potential number 1 pick.
Yeah.
And whoever snags him, that's a home run.
Agreed. I like the Raiders going corner here. They definitely need a corner. And if you're not sold on Will Levis, I mean, that defense was pretty crappy. I'll call it how it is. And I could definitely, Gonzalez probably the first corner off the board. I think Devin Witherspoon's tape is better. but Gonzalez has the size, speed, everything else you want in a corner, especially coachable. So I like Christian Gonzalez going there. And then back-to-back offensive linemen in Skoronski and Johnson Jr. I think they're both going to be great offensive linemen. I actually like Skoronski going to Atlanta a lot. The Bears need a tackle, not somebody to play interior as much. They just got Nate Davis, who I like at guard. They've got Cody Whitehair still, right?
Kevin Jenkins, I think, will be left guard.
Yep.
It hasn't been announced yet, but I'm thinking Whitehair's going to get cut post June 1st, save
so.
10 million, but we'll see. I mean, maybe we keep him just for depth because at the end of the day, it's not the worst case. We got money.
Right, exactly. Yeah, got
And
plenty
I
of
think
cash.
he might be center again because we had him there at one point, but there's a chance he's just depth. So yeah,
Sure.
Jenkins Jones would be the guards. Yeah.
And those are two good guards, like solid guards. You don't need a guy like Skoronski who may have to transition to guard. It's like, okay, who do we put at tackle then who's not going to be a great tackle? Do we need to push out Kevin Jenkins? Do we need Skoronski to play out there? Skoronski may be a fantastic offensive guard, maybe not the best offensive tackle in the NFL. So I like Paris Johnson to Chicago a lot.
Yeah, same. I mean, obviously need tackle help, and Smith and Jig was there, and he's gotten the vote of confidence from Fields. So that's going to be the question at the end of the day if they're both there at 9. But as a fan, and what I think the team really needs is I would love Paris Johnson at 9.
Yeah, I went back and forth, going back to the 7th and 8th pick because Vegas does kind of need an offensive lineman as well. So I was like, ooh, do I go Skoronski here and then Gonzalez to Atlanta? And I went back and forth for a while. And then I was like, oh, you look around that division, Herbert, Mahomes, Russell Wilson. I was like, oh, I need a corner. Did you know, this is the extensive of the research I did. One of Christian Gonzalez's sisters is married to David Blau. Is that
wow.
No way.
Is that guy still a backup in the league?
Oh, I bet he is.
I'm
I
sure
bet
He might start week 1 actually for the Cardinals
Oh my. Oh my.
because
I mean-
Kyler Murray's injury.
Picks off his brother-in-law. He's sick.
That would be awesome. Jeez. And then, we talked about the Levis pick. I like that. I do like that for Tampa Bay. I think you always trade up for a quarterback, man. And if they see that all 3 quarterbacks that they like are off the board and they don't like Hendon Hooker, who some people have way higher than he probably should be, they may be like, yep, I'm going to go take the cannon that people like to compare to Josh
I
Allen.
think that's pretty good comp for the trade. I think that's almost similar to what Bears gave up for the pick to get to the G-men when they traded for Fields. Next year's one. At the end of the day, if you're getting a quarterback that people are saying potentially could have been one, a top 3 pick at 10, when you're not supposed to be up there, I like the move from Tampa Bay, like you said, because they're in a position where you can't completely rebuild. I like Christian Gonzalez to Las Vegas, the Raiders.
Wow.
Oakland Raiders, baby. I mean, it got my ass, but I think it helps. They're in an interesting position, man. Yeah, they're in an interesting position because they've signed Jimmy G. They've got a decent roster. Where are you going right now? I like Gonzalez because he's an immediate shutdown corner, you hope. I like Skoronski to Atlanta. I think Ryan Pace being there, Chicago Falcons, you know what I mean? He signed like 6 guys from the Bears. Skoronski, local guy, so he's definitely had his eye on him, you know what I mean? So I could easily see that, though. And I like, again, like I said, Paris Johnson and obviously Levis.
Maybe a spiteful move. Take the Illinois guy right before the Bears pick.
Yeah.
Take that.
Exactly. He's saying he's in the ear.
One thing I really love about the Bucks trading up is that they already have Baker Mayfield, who had like some narcissistic issues beforehand too. A lot of people thought the same kind of thing with him as Will Levis. So maybe that's someone he can take under his wing and be like, hey, dude, league changes quick.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I thought I was on top of the world, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden, I'm on my 4th team in 3 years. So
I think if anyone can get through to him, it might be Baker Mayfield.
that's actually a great point.
Yeah,
Also,
agreed.
in general, we talked about Philadelphia. They don't really have any glaring needs at the moment, like maybe running back, but not really. So I was like, maybe that's a team that, be willing to trade back. And then the trade itself, I was like, well, a future first and a future 4th. And the reason it wouldn't be more is just because that next year's first is probably going to be pretty good.
It's gonna be
Exactly.
pretty good.
And I mean, you're talking running back. Well, might still be there at 19. We'll obviously see you in your mock, but we'll see.
Spoiler.
All right, give us 11 through 15.
All right, 11. I have Tennessee taken Broderick Jones, offensive Georgia. We talked about Luan, obviously not getting re-signed. That's a team that has a lot of holes as well. Quarterbacks, are off the board officially now at that spot. And I don't know if a receivers could all of a sudden fix what they have going on there. So give me maybe a 10+ year starter. Give me the offensive tackle going there. Houston Texans at 12. Devin Witherspoon, cornerback out of Illinois. Not a huge. Then we talk about Derek Stingley being a first-round pick for them last year, but bring in D'Amico Ryans, and you already got that back end shored up immediately.
Yep.
13, I have potentially a draft day move, maybe sooner. Aaron Rodgers trade gets done. The Jets, they only trade the 13th pick. And then I wrote down a 2024 conditional fourth that maybe becomes a third if, whatever incentive.
Do you have the Jets trading away that first?
Mm-hmm.
I have the Jets trading away 13 to the Packers. Somehow, some way, they finally give in. And
They have to blink. They have to blink. You cannot look your fan base in the face and seriously tell them, yeah, we're going to trot Zach Wilson back out there after we've benched him multiple times. Guess what? Mike White's gone. Joe Flacco's 76. You can't put him back out there. You need a quarterback, and Green Bay can technically pay Aaron Rodgers to do nothing. Like, they don't have to do this. I swear, I think the Jets have to blink. I aggressively believe that because their GM just came out and said, "Oh, Aaron's going to be here, baby. Aaron Rodgers is going to be in the building." It's like, okay, good. Now you have fully committed to needing Aaron Rodgers. Give us what we want for him. You need him. You need him.
And I think if they wait till after the draft to trade for him, they just have to give up more compensation because it'd be, it wouldn't be this upcoming season. And they've already made a lot of moves this offseason to get a bunch of Aaron Rodgers' boys there.
Yep.
Huge waste they didn't. So I have Green Bay taking Miles Murphy, edge from Clemson here at 13 before the Patriots, who also might need defense. So Miles Murphy to the Packers at 13.
Mm-hmm.
I have Darnell Wright, offensive tackle, going to the Patriots at 14. Might be a little high, but you'll see as a trend in this draft, I really like my linemen on each side of the ball. Patriots, but I don't think they re-signed either of their tackles.
Nope.
So that's a team that needs one, and it's kind of forcing their hand. The three best tackles are already off the board. You might have to reach for the fifth or the fourth best one.
Yeah.
And then 15, I have the Packers trading back from 15 to 17.
Ooh.
Pittsburgh Steelers. Packers give up 17, or other way around. Steelers give up the 17th pick in the first round this year, and then a fourth round this year as well, which is the 120th pick.
Mm-hmm.
Caveat to move up 2 picks, you get our fourth round here, and they're going to take Joey Porter Jr.
Fuck me.
Yes.
Move 1 spot ahead of Washington, who definitely needs a corner as well. And a little nostalgia factor. Keep the family in Pittsburgh.
Break out the Porter, baby, the Porter jerseys. Let's go.
Steelers are a football family, though. They get it.
Yeah.
It's just too obvious of a pick to pass up.
Yeah, I think the Steelers are devastated that Darnell Wright goes at pick 14, and then they're like, there goes all the offensive linemen. If Joey Porter Jr. doesn't fall to us, we are screwed because there's nothing that we need on the board anymore. So I think them having to move up to 15 is great, and since Green Bay already picked at 13, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I like the Packers trade as well. I think it's just going to be a matter of what the compensation is. I mean, all the reports say like they do have the idea of that the deal is agreed upon. It's just got to be the compensation both ways is agreed upon, and that eventually will get hammered out. Is it 13? I think if it's 13, the Jets are trying to say that's all you get. Well, obviously, see, I mean, Green Bay at the end of the day, you get 13 for a guy that's walking out the door anyway, and you don't have to give him the $60 million because then you can also just show up to be a dick.
Yeah.
You never know what he would do.
True.
At the end of the day, you just don't. And I enjoy the rest. I mean, obviously love Joey Porter to the Steelers. I think that's a monster trade. I think that's a good pickup for Tennessee with Roger Jones, like you said, Taylor Lewan. And like you said, I agree. Is there a receiver? I mean, even if it's Smith and Jigba there, that doesn't fix the problems. And Tannehill's on his way out. They obviously don't believe in Malik Willis.
No.
Talks about them moving up. I like Devin Witherspoon. I think D'Amico Ryans is looking defense there. I mean, Smith and Jigba is going to be enticing. You get your quarterback a guy that they can just mesh and mold together with immediately, rookies. But then it also brings up, are you going to pay a receiver and quarterback big bags way in the future? But they're not really thinking about that. But at the end of the day, I like all those moves and I like the trades. I mean, Miles Murphy's a freak. That pissed me off. And I mean, that'd be a dub for Green Bay.
Great pick.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's a dub for the Jets, though, as well. Both ways.
Yep.
Loving it so far.
Yeah.
I definitely think like the Texans passing up on a wide receiver there. just picking defense. I think they're doing it right, building the team around the quarterback and then adding weapons. And
Yeah,
they got
100%.
plenty of weapons to add next year in the draft. That wide receiver class is loaded.
Mhm.
They might do something similar to the Bengals did.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
bet on it. Jamar comes out, Marvin Harrison comes out next year. You never know. Like something like that happens.
Mhm.
Shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
forget
Lock
it.
it down.
That'd be great in Houston. I love that. All right. Give